What is up, everybody? Welcome once again to my YouTube channel, and today let's continue with another round of the championship in our career mode, round 18 for the USA Grand Prix. As you can see on the left hand side of your screens, Red Bull bought an upgrade of the downforce and reduced their chassis weight, so in the graph regarding performance they are almost equal, if not actually equal, with Mercedes for the top spot of the performance. And you can see in the middle we are leading the rivalry against Kimi Raikkonen with a good performance last time out in Japan. So let's now move on to the standings for the top 10 for the qualifying tree, and a front row lockout for Red Bull, followed by both Mercedes, then me and Pascal Wehrlein getting separated by both Ferraris, with Valtteri Bottas in 9th and Fernando Alonso completing the top 10 for McLaren Honda. So with that, let's move on into the race.
Okay, you can brake late into one because of the incline. It's a slow corner though, so make sure you stay out of trouble. Good luck.
So we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the United States Grand Prix. Daniel Ricciardo with a very poor start. Nico Rosberg is right around him. I believe it is a Ferrari of Kimi Raikkonen already, with a poor start already behind the Manor of Pascal Wehrlein. We try to split the Mercedes, and Lewis Hamilton comes back dangerously onto the racetrack and clips our teammate, and he's already done an half spin, so that's going to damage his race severely. Let's see how he recovers from that, as we are now watching the replay of the start from Carlos Sainz. He got a very good start, already past Felipe Massa, I believe that was, going on the inside of the McLaren of Fernando Alonso, up to P8 as he goes through Bottas and Raikkonen up to P6. And he just witnesses the incident between Hamilton and Wehrlein there. Now we are following Jenson Button, who got a very good start as well, as already passed Kvyat, but he got boxed in by Carlos Sainz, so he couldn't get the move done, as he's side by side with the Toro Rosso, with the Russian of the Toro Rosso. And as Pascal Wehrlein tries to recover his car, he comes back onto the racing line and blocks Jenson Button massively, and he drops down multiple positions, and he's now side by side battling for P16 with Felipe Nasr, I believe it is, in the Sauber, and through the S's he gets the move done, but not the best of starts for the British driver today. As we now move on to the beginning sector of lap 2, and Valtteri Bottas is out of the race. He did a fairly good qualifying in the top 3, but unfortunately his race was cut short, and that brought out the safety car as he nearly smashed onto the back of Rosberg. Since he was dangerously slow through there, as he just hit brakes as soon as the safety car was announced. As we are now under braking zone for turn 1, and as you can see, Valtteri Bottas just goes out smoking. Some must have been wrong with his engine during that downshift process, but yeah, something very weird happened with that Mercedes engine, as we are now at the end of said lap 2, and Daniel Ricciardo, I believe, is in the lead, and he went, yes it is Ricciardo, he went for a set of the soft tires, if I remember correctly, as he pulls off into the pits. I believe he's going to come out around 14th, maybe 15th place. So yeah, let's just take a look. I believe I can show you guys. No, not yet. But yeah, lap 6 to restart, we have green flag racing, and we are taking the slipstream of Nico Rosberg. As we approach the uphill into turn 1, we are going to actually make a diving maneuver on the pair in front of me, and I get the move done. Both leaders go very wide at the entry, and there is contact between both Mercedes, and I believe it was Lewis Hamilton getting a little bit of karma there. He gets spun around, and just seeing a replay from his perspective, I believe both Verstappen and Rosberg go very wide. Verstappen gets through, but then Lewis Hamilton rejoins the track, gets tagged by a Force India, and then a massive crash between Jenson Button and involving Ricciardo as well, as we are watching the onboard of. He lost his wheel, he has DNF'd, and he almost got decapitated from Jenson Button. So Jenson Button with a very poor start today is already in last place, and Daniel Ricciardo, the pole sitter, manages to DNF after only 6 laps. So yeah, that's not optimal. We are now in lap 7, I believe, as the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton is going to lose a position to Felipe Nasr, and then he gets tangled with Julian Palmer, and both Haas drivers are going to get by him. Hamilton tries to fight with the Renault driver, but Julian Palmer gets through, and Hamilton is already down onto P15. He started in 4th place, I believe, as we are now moving on to lap 9, and we are following Nico Rosberg as he's slipstreaming, yes, DRS, the slipstream, and I bet rich mix on the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel, I believe that is, and they go into turn 1. And the German driver of the Mercedes gets the move done, as a couple of laps later this is Lewis Hamilton comes into the pits for a fresh set of the soft tires and also a replacement of the front wing, so maybe some damage there in the battle with the Julian Palmer, and is going to get less place, I believe, after that pit stop, as we are now in lap 11. Verstappen and Rosberg, as you just got from my mirrors, are going to make their pit stops as well, so we are going to further compound our leads to the rest of the pack, as we get a suggestion by Jeff to make a 2-stopper, and we deny that. We want to take these laps around 10 laps more before switching onto a set of medium tires and take those to the end. As we are in that same lap, I believe it is lap 12, we are watching a battle between Kimi Raikkonen, I believe this is, and Felipe Massa. Felipe Massa gets the outside line, even though he gets better traction, so that allows him to get side by side, and onto the right-hander he has the inside line, and he retakes the position, I believe, as Kimi Raikkonen is still side by side and actually gets the move done. So the Ferrari getting past the Williams there, as we are now in lap 13, and our teammate Pascal Wehrlein is now battling for position with Kevin Magnussen, and he gets the move done very easily using his Mercedes engine and the DRS to get past, as we are now in lap 17, and Nico Rosberg caught up with Sebastian Vettel and is going to make a remake, I believe, of a reenactment of I believe it was lap 8, as he's going on the inside once again with fresher super softs. Sebastian Vettel tried the switch back there, but he could not get it done, so up to P3, I believe, is now Nico not Hülkenberg, but Rosberg. Speaking of Force India, Sergio Perez goes very deep onto that hairpin, and Lewis Hamilton starts making his way through the grid. I believe he was now up to P13, as in lap 23 it was our time to come into the pits for a set of the medium compound tires, as you just saw. Rosberg on the super softs and Verstappen on the soft tires went just past me. Vettel on the super softs getting past as well, but they are going to have to pit at least once, I believe. And we are now once again with our teammate battling with a Renault, but this time around it is Julian Palmer, and he gets the move done quite easily, as we are now completing lap 27, starting lap 28, and as you can see the gap is 2.9 to Vettel, but Nico Rosberg came into the pits, and I believe he's going to switch onto another set of the soft tires, which is allowed to do since I believe he started on the softs, on the super softs. And now at lap 30, on the meanwhile, Vettel went into the pits, and Romain Grosjean is out, bringing out the virtual safety car. As you can see, he's coming up onto the last corner of this racetrack, and his engine goes. So not a very good day for the Frenchman of the Haas team. And after a couple of laps later, we are now in lap 32, and we are getting notified by Jeff that the power from the engine is going to get down from engine wear, and we have retirement from Jenson Button. No, I mean it was Fernando Alonso. He did very well to qualify in the top 10. Is going to retire in the exact same way Romain Grosjean did. As we are now checking a couple of laps later, checking the standings at the moment. So Verstappen first, and me and the leader with one less stop. Lewis Hamilton down in P8. Julian Palmer in 9th, even though he is currently in the pits. Our teammates did well to come up onto P10, even though he had 3 stops. and then we have Felipe Nasr up to P12 after starting P19, and Fernando Alonso, Grosjean, Ricciardo and Valtteri Bottas DNFing, unfortunately for them, as we are now jumping onto lap 41, and I believe it is Verstappen coming into the pits for a set of the super soft tires. So we tried to do the same because we knew that he was going to catch up to us, so we decided to go into the pits and just try to match him and try to get Rosberg and fight with him for the lead of the race, as we are now in lap 45 and we are catching up to Vettel, I believe, but Felipe Massa is out of the race, so both Williams getting out of the race, which is crucial for the standings, since we are very close to them for that fourth spot on the constructors standings, as we have I believe this is the Dutchman getting past Nico Rosberg with 2 laps to go, as we are now on the last lap, and he did a very good strategy on the end, got the pace advantage on the Mercedes, and is now just strolling on the last corner and is going to cross over the line to take the win of the USA Grand Prix. A very good display of racing ability from the young Dutchman, and is going to get very happy with those 25 points, as we couldn't get past Nico Rosberg as our tires started to go off. We just didn't have the pace, and Nico Rosberg finishes in second, and we are going to finish in P3. Looking back on it, we probably should have kept with the medium tires and bet on their tires degrading quickly to get ahead, but still very happy with the result of P3, considering the top 4 are much quicker guys than we are.
Brilliant stuff from Red Bull today. What a superb victory. Tell me, what was the key to this success?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
So here come our winning drivers today, and what a race it was. There's been a big push at the factory lately to get these cars ready, and we can see the fruits of that labour today as Red Bull lift the winner's trophy.
As we are now with the race results and Max Verstappen winning the Grand Prix, followed by Rosberg and us, with Sebastian Vettel coming in 4th, followed by his teammate in 5th. Lewis Hamilton did good to come back and finish 6th place. Daniel Kvyat in 7th after starting P13. Our teammate finished exactly where he started, with Jensen Button with a second 9th place in a row. And with that, let's move on to our motorhome. And we are just going to open our laptop here and see that we are almost winning our rivalry against Kimi Raikkonen, so very close to do so. Let's see if you can get it done at the qualifying session in the next Grand Prix. As we are now in the driver standings, I believe we jumped Ricciardo, even though it will be very hard to catch up to Max Verstappen, who is 40 points ahead of me, I believe, even though that top 3 is still in very close contention for the championship title, as there are still 3 races left in the season, and any retirement might cost you the championship. At this point is very close up on the sharp end of the field, as our teammate is down in P15, even though he cuts the gap to Nico Hülkenberg, I believe, by 2 points, so another 3 points, and he catches Nico Hülkenberg in the standings. As we are just in a moment moving onto the constructor standings, Mercedes leading, and they got 1 point of advantage in this race, so they increased their gap to 70 points because of the retirement of Daniel Ricciardo, which is a shame because it looked like both Red Bulls had the upper hand on the Mercedes today, as we jumped Williams on the standings, and it will probably be impossible to overtake Ferrari, but we got important points on the search for that 4th place finish in the standings. So that was it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video for the USA Grand Prix. If you did, give the video a like. If you did not, the dislike button is right beside it. Subscribe if you want to see more. Hope to see you guys in the next race, which will be the Mexico Grand Prix if I am not mistaken. Hope to see you guys there, and have a wonderful day.